Hello, hello, hello.
Like I just need to budget a tighter.
Hey everybody. If you're interested in Airbnb, you might only see the like glossy exterior of Airbnb, right? And a lot of times what we see on Airbnb is the top 10% of Airbnbs. That's like the famous like Sky House, Thai River Cabin Company, the Instagram famous A-frames with the models, but not really models in the hot tub, right? Like that's what a lot of us see of Airbnb, but the reality is there's a lot of different units and a lot of different price points. And what we're seeing, and I'm sure Mish can talk to this more, is that Airbnb is really starting to reward the top properties, and the properties that are not in the top 10% are not doing that well. And I think the reality, if you've ever run your own Airbnbs like me and my wife Jess has, and I'm sure Mish can talk to this too, is that it is not a passive strategy. Unless you hire someone like Mish to run it for you, it's not a passive strategy. You're going to be interacting with guests. There's a lot of AI automation that can help with that, but AI can't solve everything. And issues come up. It is a hospitality business. Outside of issues, people do weird stuff. So we had a unit where we came in to clean it and we're like, ooh, it smells like cigarettes. They definitely smoked in here. And they were like super friendly the whole time. And we were like, hey, did you guys smoke in here? And they were like, no, there were so many bugs that we let off 3 bug bombs in the living room and that's why it smells like cigarettes. And I was like, okay, I didn't say it smelled like cigarettes. I just asked if you smoked in there. You seem very confident. And we've had all kinds of situations like that that can be really stressful. So I think the reality of Airbnb is that it is an amazing strategy. There are some amazing tax benefits to it. But if you're not grossing more than you could with passive strategies like long-term rentals and you're not getting a ton of tax benefits, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have the extra hassle. So that's why I'm super excited to have people like Mish here, because she does run top performing Airbnbs that do actually gross and net a lot more than their competitors. Because I think if this is a strategy that you're excited in pursuing, you should try and be the best at it, because it's one of those few strategies that really rewards the best and really doesn't anyone in the middle. So there's a lot of people here outside of the HouseHack Seattle team that you might want to talk to after. We've got contractors, Louise in the back. We've got David Weiser. We've got lenders, Kara Rosansky, who may not be here. We've got Israel Lopez, hard money lenders. So if you're looking to do this kind of deal, definitely kind of walk around the audience. We have contact info for a lot of vendors up on the screen afterwards, and start making those connections to make it happen. So without further ado, I want to welcome up Mish. Yeah, you can take that. Or you can shout.
Hi everybody, my name's Mish. I'm talking about how to do short-term rental in 2026. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. So a little bit of background on myself. I came from tech background and I quit my tech job around 2022 and started to do short-term rental real estate full-time. And I'm a short-term rental investor. I'm also a real estate agent, and I'm also the owner of Stay PNW, which is the short-term rental management company. Some of you guys might know, but might not. We are specialized in the cabins in Washington State, and usually some outdoor hotspots like ski resort or like hiking trails. Like at the Cascade, Mount Baker, Mount Rainier, national parks, places like that. And we also manage half of the short-term rental in Seattle just because I live in Seattle. In my portfolio, I own 7 short-term rentals. I'm currently actually also building a cabin in Gold Bar, which is on Highway 2 by the Skykomish River, and it's almost done. And I have a next project doing a single-family home in Seattle. And I wanted to ask you guys, like, who here have done short-term rental, but I think Michael already did that. Yeah. So how I started, I always loved real estate, and what got me into the cabin is I was actually really into snowboarding, like 8-10 years ago, and I feel like I need to live on the mountain. So I think I was really lucky because at the time I found this cabin that has like really unique architecture, but the inside was pretty rustic. And at the time, because this is something that I want to move in, so like I studied remodel to like very modern inside, and I moved in for 2 weeks, and it was just like too quiet. Like I just couldn't do it, so I started to do Airbnb. So that's actually how I started. And these are the shelter rental that I own currently, and you can see the cabins. They are all kind of like unique architecture. The first one is kind of like a farmhouse, but it's like really cute, and an A-frame, another like cabin-looking cabin, and like the sky cabins, the mid-century looking with a lot of windows and feels like a cabin in the woods. And the Seattle ones, I usually really like to make it really cute, kind of like urban outfitter style. And I feel like that's been doing really well. So the story of the short-term rental from 2019 to 26. So before 2019, I feel like most of the short-term rental are, kind of like a vacation rental, and it's like there were short-term rental before Airbnb exists. Like ski town like Mount Baker or national park like Mount Rainier, there are a lot of short-term rental that like it's always been there. And during 2020 COVID, kind of helped with the short-term rental because the travel kind of exploded because everybody wanted to get out of the house. And 2021, 22, I feel like people caught on, and so there's a lot of hype of buying property for short-term rental. And 2023 is where, so like 22, like I think because the revenue is there, everybody think that short-term rental is something that it's gonna make money, so everybody's buying short-term rental. So like people's gone crazy during that time. And 2023 is when you see too many supply, oversaturated, and so like it's getting harder and harder for people to do short-term rental because the competition is so high. And I think 2025 it kind of stabilized just because a lot of people try short-term rental, it didn't work out. They either find a different exit strategy or they sell it or do long-term rental. And 2026, I feel like it's the professional operators win. You just need to have kind of like the expectations are so high that you need to be really professional about everything. Do you guys have any questions so far? Okay. And so what changed? So like before you could, like the cabin price is really low, like you could get something under 100, like I feel like even 250K, it's like a lot of money for cabin. So you get a cabin, you put a hot tub, and you generally make money. You don't really need to put any effort. But now the price is so high, and then like there's so many cabins on the market. So like you always have to compete with other people. You need professional photography. You need like automated messages and dynamic pricing and designer interior to be able to like really compete with the your competitors. So we're talking about how to get your cabin Airbnb into the top 10%. So this is, so I basically use incognito mode in Chrome and search for Skykomish, and our cabin is like the second one. So like we have been ranking really high, and we have like 4.9 rating with like 346 review, and that definitely helps, like stay high on the Airbnb ranking. Same as this one. So the Gold Bar cabin is the first one, over 1,000 homes in Gold Bar. So like when you're ranked high, like just like better visibility, like because people might not click into like the 10, 20 pages to find like the cabins. Greater East. And this is the Mount Rainier one, so it's like at the bottom of the first page, so still doing pretty well. So top 10% cabin. So the top 10% cabin get the majority of booking. You can charge higher nightly rate, stay booked even in the slower month. So the guests expected more just a cabin in the woods. They're looking for design and experience, and it matters more than location alone. So I think 5 years ago, we were only cabin that has modern decor, and now it's like all the cabin has like really, nice and modern decor. So like you just really need to stand out to compete. How do you get there? So property selection is really important. So basically, that's something that like you have to kind of like get it right in the beginning. And design and amenities, that's something that you can add. And with the amenities, it's helpful when you have like space for it, like yard or like just like space for putting amenities. Photo descriptions, marketing, pricing strategy, and operations. So the first one, property selection. So for the architecture, like I feel like it's really important for cabins, but not necessarily important at all for like Airbnb. So like A-frame or dorm, yurts, tree houses, or like any like mid-century architecture usually work really well because people just want to have like a unique experience. And the second, neighborhood and accessibility. So like this one, I feel like a lot of time the neighborhood like Suncadia or like Snoqualmie Pass, even Glacier, they are very desirable, but not necessarily good for investment. Just because they're people want to actually kind of like a lifestyle cabin, people want to buy in there, so the price is so high, the revenue don't always support it. For the yard and outdoor space, so that's also really important. So earlier I'm talking about, so we can put the amenity there. And the next slide we're talking about like what kind of amenity to put there. And for views, so like have some kind of mountain view or like water view, like on Highway 2, because along with the Skykomish River, so there's a lot of cabin that's on the river, and I feel like you kind of have to be on the river to compete on Highway 2 just because there's so many there. Any questions so far?
So when you're looking for these properties, are you looking for ones where a cabin already exists and you're going to rehab it, or are you going to start from scratch?
I think both works. Yeah, so like something that have like a unique architecture, but like it's like maybe somebody's been living there and not updated, and then you just go in there and you make the interior like really modern and cute. I think that usually works pretty well. But I feel like not necessarily you have to see how like the previous person do, because I feel like you can always update it so that like it has potential. But I feel like it has to have something that could grab the attention, like the unique architecture or like like locate like views, like stuff like that. Because those are the things that you cannot update later on. But like anything inside you could. Yeah.
What about like the lot size? Do you find that some of the cabins may have bigger lots, so if you want to expand and build more?
Yeah.
Old dad and cranes going on here.
Yeah, so like I feel like in those cabin area, like the bigger that you can expand, the better. But I wouldn't necessarily put like a lot of unit in it, just because I feel like a lot of like most of people, when you want to stay in the cabin, you want to have some space from other people. So like having big yard or like property, definitely a plus. because so a lot of cabins that I manage, actually they are in communities. So they're actually pretty tight. They're not like big at all. So like we actually often get comment or reviews said that they thought the property is secluded, but it's not. So we end up having to put in the description things to know that this is in the neighborhood. You will see the neighbors. It's not secluded, even though it's kind of like there's some trees there, so it feels like in the woods. Yeah.
How long does it take for you to get to 4.7, 4.9 rating?
So the ratings start, like if you get 5 point, you actually kind of start from 5. Yeah, so like some of the review that probably that we get, like we get 5-star review until we get like 100 or 200 reviews. So like we have 5-star consistently the first 100 review. So but then like as the time go by, like you kind of sometimes more likely to find people that give you kind of like bad review or like something goes wrong, like so like but you kind of wanted to just like stay high as possible, so you keep 4.9 something. Yeah. So amenities, so hot tub, sauna or cold plunge is like really, I feel like it's really trendy right now. So like people say sauna is the new hot tub. So hot tub is like basic, you kind of have to have it because everybody has hot tub. And sauna is like a new thing where like people is trying to get offer their amenity to kind of like draw guests' attention. I feel like people love big windows, and fire pit is something that is very cheap to do because like you just kind of to do like the gravel or like paver or whatever to have like a fire pit, and you can put some string lights. With the fire pit, so like we usually have burn ban in summer, and that's the time that people could enjoy the fire pit. So I would suggest to do like fire tables with the propane. So that's generally allowed, and people love just kind of being outside. Yeah.
I have a hot tub question, Mish. Because Mish manages my properties and she knows I've resisted the hot tub thing.
Yeah.
What is the cost for your person or cleaner to check and maintain the hot tub? Like we know kind of how much a hot tub costs, but how much is that going to add in like maintenance?
Yeah.
costs?
So in general, like each location they kind of charge differently.
Yeah.
But like for like highway 2 area, my handyman charged by $5 an hour, and then so it just kind of depends on the time. So they usually do the water every 1 month or every other month. Yeah. So it just kind of depends on like if you have hot tub and then you have like yard, and then you just go there and do all that and charge hourly.
Yeah, so since your cabins are way out of the mountains, I was wondering about the snow removal.
Yeah.
Like how often do you have people usually coming in for that? Because I know that's obviously going to be a big thing. And then when there's big windstorms, I'm guessing you have probably 2 or 3 people on standby to clear out the paths because most of those paths are there. And then also generators. Do you have generators there? And then I guess you have instructions for the guests to start up the generators if electricity goes out.
Yeah, so actually surprisingly, because the first cabin that I have in Skykomish is a town that's like pretty close to Stevens Pass. So it gets the most snow compared to like all the cabin from like Index or Gold Bar. I don't have generator, and I have a guy that like live in the town, and then basically whenever there's snow, he would just come and like clear the driveway. And for the most part, all the road get taken care of by the county or the city. Yeah. But like I think generator definitely is very good. Like just because there's so many power outages in the area, I actually could get by with the propane fireplace, so they could get stay warm. And I feel like a lot of time because the storm usually happen in winter, and people trying to go like snowboarding or like doing outdoor activities, so they actually don't really care about
the power outage. So like most of people still go just like stay in the cabin without power, and then we do have like a little power bank, and they have propane fireplace to stay warm. Photos and descriptions. So like the photo is super important. So this is one of the cabin I managed, Dancing Bear. So you can see like they have hot tub, they have sauna, and then they're like on the river, and then you can see the mountain view, like from the inside of the house. So like I feel like the first 5 photos, you definitely want to just like show that like this is like a property that could give you a really good experience, like Airbnb experience. And this one is also, this is a pretty big property that has 1 main cabin and 2 small cabins. And it's kind of like a bigger property, so like you do a lot of stuff outdoor. It has an outdoor shower, sauna, and then fireplace. So you just want your photo to kind of tell the stories. So pricing strategy. So we use PriceLab. I don't know if you guys are familiar. So it's dynamic pricing software, but we don't just set it and forget it. We monitor each week, just making sure that like, like the base price is like set correctly, and then we kind of micro adjust it. So whenever I see the cabin or like a listing that's doing slow, I would do Airbnb promotion or adjust minimum stay, social media promotion, adjust the base price on the PriceLab, or open the orphan day. So I feel like adjust the minimum stay works pretty well, just because like when you get some like one night booking, which nobody wants, but like that really helps your ranking higher, just because Airbnb see that you have more booking. So marketing and social media. So StayPNW has been on social media day 1, and that's a pretty big channel that I feel like we get a lot of traffic from like the guests. Like sometimes like we just onboard this dome cabin in Mount Baker, by Mount Baker. And so the first time we post something, we got like 170,000 views. And on that day, we got 10 bookings, just like keep coming in. So social media definitely works. Any questions so far?
What's a good budget for running ads on social media for when you first list your property?
I think when you have like one property, it's kind of hard. And then I suggest the owner would like do it yourself, because it just doesn't make sense, because social media manager are pretty expensive. They charge like thousands of, like probably 1,000 and up each month. So I would say like if you could just like kind of do yourself, and then like put the listing photo, and then whenever you go to the property, like take videos, and maybe like trade with a content creator. Like you could connect with the content creator and see if you could trade for the stay, and then get some content and you post yourself. I think that's probably like the best. Yeah. So for the operation, so like fast response is really important, because Airbnb also see that like how your responsiveness, and then the cleaning, the maintenance, and utilize AI. So so fast response to guests, we try to have no message that reply or unanswer more than an hour. And for the cleanliness, it's always the most important part of the short-term rental, even though it's not sexy, But like you had to be clean, Like even though if it's doesn't look good or anything, like cleaning is like definitely the first one. And we are also very like maintenance is also like super important, just because like if a guest give you some feedback and if you don't fix it, then you keep getting the same feedback and with multiple lower review. So having something that like if you get the feedback and if you can fix right away, definitely fix it right away. And so I utilize AI. So lately I've been using AI to kind of just like filling the gaps. So like I have 3 staff that's pretty much like do the guest communication, but sometimes they miss something. So I've been using AI to just like monitor all the, the communication. So like let's say we have like 10 tasks today, and then I just like let them know, hey, like we have to do this and that. And sometimes I don't remember. So like just using AI to kind of like just filling the gap. And also like I kind of set up where the AI could just like read all the messages from the guest communication, and it would give me like a summary and see like what it's missing and like if there's any maintenance action items that we need to fix. So that concludes the talk today. Does anybody have?
So for your AI, is that attached to your PMS?
No, actually I use Cloud, and then it just Cloud, and it actually runs on my computer, and it opens the browser, go to the PMS, and then just like monitor it.
And do you use AI for answering guests, or it's all humans?
It's all human, because I feel like guests could like kind of detect that's like you're talking to AI, like we all can do, right? So like we definitely don't want AI to answer a question unless it's like I just don't trust it. Yeah. So Hospitable has AI function, and I found that like they give wrong answer and like made up answer. So we do use AI function, but we definitely check it and see like if it's correct.
So do you hire like out of the country for people to answer the phone during the middle of the night?
Yeah, I do. So like 2 of my staff it's in Philippines and 1 is in Washington State. But we actually don't monitor like after even 10 p.m. because I feel like when even people like if they message you like after like midnight, they don't expect you to like answer right away. Like it's usually okay if you just answer them when like reasonable time, like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Yeah.
How do you think Price Lab's doing for the World Cup?
Bad. Yeah, so like for World Cup, like I feel like it was a lot of hypes. Yeah. And I think, so like I go into Price Lab and just like the World Cup days, and I put in like 40%, 50% off to like make it kind of like normalize. I don't know why it doesn't like adjust, but like I see a lot of vacancy during World Cup, and I think it's actually doing worse than last June, because last June was good in Seattle. Yeah.
When is your busiest season for this mountain area, and then on the slow season, what do you do?
Yeah, so each market is different. So like Mount Rainier, kind of like Seattle, so summer is the most busiest, but I feel like this past winter is actually not too bad. So like I feel like it's kind of like this. Like summer is really good because their occupancy of entire city of Ashford, it's like 90-something%. So every single Airbnb is getting booked. But then like winter is when you want to be the top performer, so you get the winter booking.
Yeah. And what about like in the fall or something?
The fall kind of depends on the weather, I think. Yeah, like I think this past year for the Ashford properties, we're doing pretty good. So like in fall, spring, winter, like the booking's pretty consistent. Yeah, and for Glacier, it's more just winter, and Glacier and Snoqualmie Pass. But I feel like those are the the market that I feel like it's more like a lifestyle, cabins, like, because most of people have cabin there because it's their family cabin, and they just want to do Airbnb to kind of to help the mortgage for a little bit, but not to get cash flow.
So what do you do with it in the slow time? Right? Just your other busiest season covered?
Yeah, so like we, like I said earlier, we'll do, like Airbnb promotion, but sometimes there's just not much traffic during those time. And it's like for Glacier especially, like I feel like when summer and spring, fall is kind of slow, is kind of like expected. Yeah.
I was wondering, do you optimize for like ADR or occupancy, or how do you think about it?
So I'm actually very collaborative with my owners, clients. So kind of depends on how they want to do it. Because some of my clients, they want to just make sure the minimum is at one number. So like they don't mind to have, like in Seattle, some of my clients, they don't mind just like having the property just empty, just because they don't want to go below like a threshold. For me personally, I like to have occupancy higher, just because I think when you have higher occupancy, even though sometimes you don't make money, but like your ranking will stay higher just because Airbnb rewards you. But not all my clients want that. So we basically just like, I have my default, so like I manage all the listing the same, but then like if you tell me, hey, like I don't want to rent under like 150, then we'll set that. Yeah. And then in that case, they just can't complain to me that they don't have booking, because like I would have set it lower. Yeah.
Hi, go ahead. I'm curious, if I don't have an Airbnb and I'm gonna look into acquisition, like markets or type of properties, what would you be looking at in like 2026?
Like location-wise?
Or just in general, like what do you think there's gonna be demand for?
I feel like unique architecture still like, like has that demand, just because like that's what people want to stay. And for location, I feel like Highway 2 is good, Ashford is good, and Forks, I think it's also good. It's by Olympic Peninsula. I don't actually manage anything in Forks, but I've seen the number. I feel like, and also like I feel like you don't have a lot of competition there, so like it's still very, like you can still get cash flow there. Yeah.
What do you think about in Seattle area? Is there any potential there? Yeah.
Seattle, like I think you have to have like really good design. And then another hack in Seattle is that, like, I think if you have like a duplex or triplex, and then or even like a townhouse that you could separate it to 2 units. Those, like, let's say if you have a 3-bedroom, you could that you could separate to 2 and 1. Usually do better than if you just rent 3-bedroom. And a lot of Seattle property that I manage, I feel like the owner is not trying to make cash flow. It's because they have family member that want to stay in the property, or some of my owner, they actually live out of states, or like they live somewhere else, and then they come back to Seattle and then they use the property.
How do you feel about the movement towards midterm rental?
So it's funny because like we were talking about it earlier. Like I think midterm rental, for me personally, I think it's like a lot of work, because I think most of the midterm rental people they want to tour the house. So you're doing the work for the long-term rental, but you have to do it like frequently. And you also have the risk of like in winter, like it's harder to get booked. So I feel like, so in Seattle, I feel like short-term rental and long-term rental actually make similar number. So like if you're looking for like an investment perspective, unless you have very strong design, I would say long-term rental would be easier. It's just like if you're making the same money, just might as well do long-term rental. That's how I feel in Seattle only. Yeah. Go.
For all these vacation locations in the mountains and so on, you mentioned these amenities. How important is it to get good insurance for propane inside the house, hot tubs, saunas, things like that.
So for insurance, you mean like a property insurance or?
Liability.
Yeah, like liability is really important, but I actually just found out that Airbnb also provide liability insurance. So we utilize the AirCover a lot. So like, let's say people like break your table, break your chair, whatever, like we always just, do AirCover, and they generally, if you can provide proof, they will cover for you. And your own property insurance, really important to make sure that they cover Airbnb, the short-term rental. For liability, Airbnb also do that, because I have a client that currently somebody's suing them because it's an A-frame, and then the guests kind of like getting down the stair, not very careful, and hurt themselves. So they were able to utilize the Airbnb liability insurance for that.
So, say someone is completely new to Airbnb, no reviews whatsoever, they put a property up, what would be the way that they would compete with the more established listings? Also, like I'm thinking, just as a customer of Airbnb, I'm much more likely to just go to properties that have good reviews, a lot of reviews. And I'm also thinking about the Airbnb algorithm. How does it prioritize with those new properties that will show up?
So there's a hack with Airbnb, because when you create a Airbnb listing, they usually put you on top, and then they evaluate you and see like how you book the first month. And if you do well, then you stay on top. So like if you feel like it's very like stagnant and no matter what you cannot bring it back up, then you create a new listing. So a new listing actually do better than like an old listing that has really good review. So people will ask, what about, but like I have like really good review in the current listing, like should we still do this? I would say yes, because you can always get more reviews. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
I think it partly is that. Like I'm just wondering because I myself, as a person who has been to Airbnbs, like when I'm looking at properties, I'm much more likely to just go for the ones that are like well reviewed, established, than taking a risk on something with 0 reviews or really few reviews. Is that something you see, like, or do people actually go for these like new properties?
Yes, I feel like having really good review definitely important, because myself will also like when I book Airbnb, I also see the reviews. Yeah.
How do you encourage the guests to give you a review, a good review?
So for the new listing, we actually just ask, like when they check out, we just like, hey, like we appreciate your stay. Like if you don't mind, can you like give us a good review? Yeah, we just ask for it. And then like if it's a brand new listing, we ask another 2 times if they didn't really review. And if it's a listing that are already pretty established, then we just ask that 1 time.
So where do you find the properties? Where either new or just a land? Where do you go out look for it?
Mostly just on the market. Yeah. Is that what you ask? Yeah. So like I found all mine on the market, but like I'm sure there's off-market ones too. But like I feel like off-market one, like I don't see a lot of cabins just because they're usually more in like the city.
As for like similar question, like where do you find all your cleaners and stuff for those locations?
Yeah, so actually like all the market that I'm in, they're all like traditionally vacation rental places. So the cleaner actually not too bad to find. Like in Ashford, there are like a lot of cleaner that's already established, and then same as Glacier. But you do need to find some, like you need to spend some time and get like references, because cleaning is so important. And just like have like a list of questions to interview them, and just like making sure that like everything check out, and then get like the references, talk to their other clients. Yeah. And also like Facebook group, like each market they usually have a Facebook group, and some of them even have like a short-term rental or just like business group where like you could find a lot of vendor there. Yeah.
When you add new amenities to a property, are you doing a new listing? Like say if you didn't have a hot tub before, or didn't have a sauna, do you start that listing back up even if it was like very good or mediocre kind of going, or do you just keep it and try to just hold people amalgamate it?
I think I only create new listing when it's like not doing well. So like if you're, let's say if you don't have hot tub and then you're doing okay, you put a hot tub in, you raise your price, I think that's okay. You don't have to create a new listing.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I think he's have follow up.
I was gonna say, are you seeing specific areas where things like penciling in cash flow wise for traditional 20% down more than others, or are you seeing people kind of acquiring places just to acquire and try to hold right now? Like, do you see certain areas making more sense than others throughout the state right now?
Yeah, I think certain areas definitely make more sense than others. I feel like for like one number makes sense. It's like kind of personal because like I feel like I have like investor client that reach out to me and then like their criteria is all like kind of different.
What are your thoughts on condos for Airbnb? Because I know in Seattle proper, there's only a handful who have HOAs that allow it, but do you think that's a viable option?
I think you probably want to look at the number. I actually manage a condo that it's like in Capitol Hill and it's really nice and they just like the design is really nice, but they have a cap. I think like they're doing pretty well. So it kind of just depends on the number and like what, like what interior that will work.
How do you normally design the furniture from furnishing the place and I guess how do you buy stuff as new and deliver it to the place?
Yeah, so for Airbnb, I would suggest to get like quality stuff just because there's a lot of traffic and you want something that's like not too cheap and like sturdy so that you could last longer. Yeah, and I usually do it new, but depends on the pieces. Like if you're like really good at thrifting, you could maybe find something good, but like I generally get something new.
So location-wise, what do you see in Seattle area? Which neighborhood would be good or good?
So in Seattle, Central District, Capitol Hill, Queen Anne, Fremont, just kind of like a central area. West Seattle is still also good, yeah. And as you get further out, I feel like you don't do it as well. And also like, I don't really manage anything in U District, but I don't think U District or like the east side of Seattle. I don't think that side do better than like the west, like Ballard, Fremont. Yeah. This is how like I kind of just like, out of my head. Yeah. Okay, thank you guys.